not a lot of money left because we already have the lowest ratio of state employees to population in the nation. So we're just talking about making sure that we spend the money we spend in a wiser way by rebidding those contracts.
Have you said you're okay with the cuts to the municipalities?
I don't know that's going to be difficult to pass that bill. I would say that if there's however, if there's a surcharge, then that money would go to, the new money would go to the state, not to any local governments.
Are Illinoisans in general, average Illinoisans, economically healthy enough to support a tax increase, do you think, at this point?
Well, it depends on how you look at the fact that the money that's brought in from the tax increase is then reinvested in jobs, which I'm sure the 17,000 teachers who will otherwise be laid off think it's a good idea. And the people that are owed the $8 million in Senator Brady's school districts would think it's a good idea. And so I've seen studies that say this, when the states cut back, it further exacerbates the economy. So at a certain point, you can't go out of business. We haven't raised our prices for state government since, I want to say, 1989. That's the last time there was a vote to raise our prices. And I even saw a letter to the editor, printed in the Tribune the other day, talking about how the Tribune raised their prices. They've probably done it more than once since 1989. So at a certain point, you have to increase your prices. For the analogy in the private sector, that's what the governor is asking us to do in order to pay for education, which is a very basic service that people know and believe that they need.
Would you support keeping education at a flat rate or would you want to increase the amount going for the next year?
Yeah, I think we need to pay our bills across the board. There's been state senators who've been evicted from their district offices because they haven't had their rents paid in a year. I think it's a very conservative thing to do is to pay your bills that are already owed. So $6 billion in revenue in bills, old bills, is unacceptable. That should be paid down. If we can keep the cuts from, do what we did last year, basically keep education spending level, I think that would be the appropriate way to go.
Do you have any sense, based on the governor's tax proposal here, whether he's got any component in here that would deal with high-income earners, they would be the ones paying more than low-income earners, or is it across the board?
Again, I haven't seen the details. I don't know if there's an earned income tax credit or if there's an increase in the personal exemption. The $7.8 billion tax increase that the Civic Federation proposed did not have any one of those. It's still a flat tax. There's no constitutional amendment.
We could take about 2 more questions.
Is there any movement at all to enact the tax swap that's been bandied around for a while?
Our bill that we passed, that's over in the House, had $600 million worth of property tax relief. And that bill is still alive. It's not, the governor's talking about a surcharge to try to solve a specific problem with education this year. I still urge the House to take up that because it's comprehensive. It expands the tax base, it provides for exemptions for poor people, and it increases property tax relief.
When you're talking about level funding for education, are you talking about flat funding, or are you talking about some kind of percentage increase, or how is it that you're...
Well, there's formulas, there's some hold harmless formulas every year that require some slight increase in spending in education. But if you kept the per pupil spending the same and took any other monies to pay your debt, I think that would be a wise thing to do.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Do legislators need to take furloughs or
We've already done it
again?
We've already done it. I haven't read
year?
about it too often in the paper, but we've already done it.
Does it need to be done again?
I'm sure we won't.
Thank you.